So now we're moving on to line types for your baitcaster. There are a few options to put onto a baitcaster. We have fluoro, mono, braid, and braid comes in 4 and 8 carrier. Generally, there are more options available on the market, but this is going to give you a very brief understanding of those line types. So when looking at line types, you've got more stretch in some lines and you've got less stretch in others. Braid, for example, less stretch. Mono, probably the most stretch, and fluoro, somewhere in between. So tell us how you would set up the baitcasters utilizing those lines.
So an 8 carrier is a very round line, so it sits very, very close on the spool, and the 4 carrier, which is more squared, is a little bit not off, but it's a little bit in a different way.
Yeah.
But 4 carrier is louder in rod rings, while the 8 carrier is a little bit more silent. But as a beginner, I would definitely recommend choosing a 4 carrier braid, because the 4 carrier has double the line size of the single strand compared to an 8 carrier. Because when you have the same diameter and you have 8 single strands, it can't be the same diameter of the single strand, right? And when you have a backlash, the single strand toughness is very important to keep the lure attached to your line.
Yeah.
If you use an 8 carrier and you have a backlash, the lure is almost gone.
Yeah.
So you really have to control it with your thumb, and you have to learn it. And because we don't want you to lose many lures, start with a 4 carrier braid. Don't try mono, don't try flu. This makes the whole experience a little bit more difficult. Start with a 4 carrier braid, and then you can move on from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And with mono and fluoro, you're obviously going to get less line onto the spool as well. So there's positive and negatives to all of the options. I totally agree with Chris. I think braid is definitely the way to go. 4 strand to start off with. If you're going to use an 8 strand, the positives of that, you're going to get a little bit more finesse. Like Chris said, it's going to be quieter. It's going to sit differently on the spool, but you are in the danger zone, as Chris said. And if you fire one of those casts out and you get a tiny backlash, be prepared to watch the entire braid disappear off into the distance. So one to think about, some really nice tips. Looking forward to the next section.